This episode of the Citadel Cafe is brought to you by listeners like you. Visit patreon.com/the Citadel Cafe to find out how you can become a patron and help make this show possible. This is the Citadel Cafe, episode number 307 for Wednesday, February 27th, 2019. My name is Joel Duggan, and the Citadel Cafe is where my friends and I hang out to talk about the geeky stuff we are into. Double trouble. Megan Townsend is back again. Oh, Megan Townsend, where it matters on social media. Hello.
Hi.
2 weeks in a row.
I know. We do that a lot.
We do. Well, here's the thing. Normally on the third week of the month, Brockett is the regular, but he has a mini. His wife has a mini bee. He's got a daughter.
Okay, I was gonna say he has a spawn.
Yes, he does. He has a small human, and she's doing very well, but she's now busy. She's like 6 or 7 months old and teething, and she's ridiculously cute. I keep up with them on social media, but yeah, there's windows, and sometimes the windows don't line up. And then I also had some stuff going on this month. So the February is also a very short month, and it just kind of creeps up on you.
What did you call it yesterday?
The ninja month. Yeah. All of a sudden you're like, oh crap, I have all this stuff to get ready for Patreon launch on March 1st. And it's like, and that March 1st is Friday. Like what? I don't have another half week, right? I don't have the weekend. I was going into this thinking like, yeah, I'll do that on the weekend. Nope. I have to do it today.
Yeah. I was legitimate when you texted me last night about the show. I was legitimately confused because I was like, it's next week. My week is next week. And you're like, no, it's the last week of February. And I was like, what? Lost my mind. I thought we had a whole other week of February. And that's when you call it the ninja month.
Well, not only is it the last week of February, it is also my father's birthday. So I don't know if he still listens to this. Sometimes he tunes in for like the Game of Thrones stuff, but happy birthday, Dad. I'll be talking to him later today.
Dad
anyway.
Duggan.
But yeah, so that's always fun. My sister actually is down Dad and his girlfriend are in Florida.
Nice.
Yeah, so Phyllis and Dad are in Florida. And I mean, she's essentially my stepmom. They've been together for a long time. But they're down there, and my sister and her fiance took not their daughter, but it's soon to be my sister's stepdaughter. They're getting married this summer, down to Disney World. So first time on a plane, first time in Florida, first time at Disney World she's 6.
Wow.
Because they wanted to take advantage of Dad being down there because they can stay somewhere without having the extra cost, right? And then there's a pool, and they can do half days at the Disney World. They don't have to go for like the full day and exhaust the kid. They can kind of go in little bites. And when I've seen some videos on Facebook and things, it looked like it was a lot. It looks like she had a really good time, but it also, like, there's moments of like arrival and stuff where it's just like, I don't know how to process this. Like when you're from a place like, Halifax, Dartmouth, and you live a fairly straightforward life as a 6-year-old, like there is nothing around here that ever prepares you. Like Toronto is a big city, there's other places in North America that people can grow up that might prepare them a little bit, for things like the Magic Kingdom in Disney World. But like it's just so big. Like there's roller coasters and like all kinds of stuff.
It's so big. Yeah.
And previous to this year,
I remember going when I was a kid, and I remember just being like, what is happening? And like losing my mind.
Yeah. And previous to this year, even theme park stuff around here, she wouldn't have been big enough or heavy enough or tall enough to be on any kind of really fun ride, because she would have been 4 and 5. But now that she's 6 and she's a little taller, she was able to go. I think they said she went on Thunder Mountain, which is pretty cool for a 6-year-old. Yeah. So yeah, apparently it was good. It was a good ride. So I'm gonna get the rundown later today when I talk to Dad, because they're still down there. Andrea's making dinner for Dad today.
Oh, nice.
There's a crew. There's Dad and his friends and a couple of other people staying in the house, and of course Nick and Kelly are there too. So, nice. So it's so that's the Duggan family news. There's really not much going on. I've had a really busy week. I've been doing a lot of late night stuff, playing a lot of Minecraft, doing some art streams. Actually, I should bring that up. I finished Alistair, who's been on this show before. He's part of our the Citadel Cafe Discord community as well. Plays on the Citadel Minecraft server with us. and
Mm.
he commissioned me to do a update on his cartoon avatar that he's had for like years. I want to say in his early 20s,
Yeah.
and so he's been using this on social media forever. So he wanted an update, so I was doing that, and I cleared it with him a long time ago, but I streamed the process. Pretty much right through to the end. I think I skipped the background stuff just because that kind of stuff is kind of boring, and it was easier for me to just kind of do off stream. But I streamed the entire process from start to finish over 2 streams, I think, last week on
I think
twitch.tv
I jumped in on that
slash
stream.
Joldogan. I believe you
There
did
was there
too.
was one
Yeah.
that I like jumped into because Alistair was mentioning that you were streaming,
Hmm.
and I was on my lunch break at work, and I jumped in, and I remember Cosmic Dancer saying hey.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And people recognized like they could hear my voice and my speech, and I was like, "That's good. At least I'm consistent across everything."
Nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
It's
that's
fun actually.
cool.
We've had a number of people. We've had a number of people join the Discord lately, which is cool because for people that don't know, the Discord for the Citadel Cafe is actually my own personal Discord. It's not just for this podcast. It's just called Joel Duggan on Discord. And so
Yeah.
previously, there was 2 ways to get in. It was supporting me on Patreon or supporting the Citadel Cafe on Patreon. And so now there's a third way, in that I've tied the Discord to Twitch. And if you do the same, if you happen to be a sub on Twitch or have been given a gift sub on Twitch, then you can log into the Discord and join the community in that way too. So something I'm trying to do over the next week or so is broaden and diversify the number of ways that people can engage in the community and choose to support me as a creator should they want to do so. I mean, there's a lot of free ways to do it as well. You know, retweets, telling friends. We always say on the Spawn Chunks, the joke at the end of the show is poke a friend in the arm and tell them about it, because, you know, you can, social media these days, because of the rhetoric, because of the internet negativity, because of the noise, it's really difficult to get your signal out there. But if you're
Yeah.
dealing with something like the Spawn Chunks as an example, you know, that's something that people listen to quite often when they're playing Minecraft. So what we've suggested at the end of the show as kind of a little tag is like, tell your friends on the server. Like, you don't have to go and try to get everybody or you know, shout it out at the playground. But I mean, hey, sure, do it if you want to. But if you're on a server with some friends, tell them about it, because these are the people that you probably interact with on a daily basis. And you're like, hey, you know, guys and girls, you should listen to this show.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm trying to find a better way to do that with the Citadel Cafe, because it's different, because it's an adult, not adult, but I guess so. But it's not aimed at kids. Like, there's not going to be a large young audience that listen to the Citadel Cafe. I'm talking like
Right.
under 10, you know,
Right.
sub high school sort of thing. And so I'm trying to figure that out, because some of what I do has that appeal in terms of the Minecraft content, the video game content. But then on the flip side, I do find that the art content that I do tends to steer a little bit older. So what I'm
Mm.
doing is I'm flipping. I've sent out an email several weeks ago now to people that are supporting me on my personal Patreon page, which is just my name, and I'm switching it over from a per comic to a per month, and I'm switching the content from comics to art and streaming content. I still have. I'm trying to figure out the best way to phrase it succinctly at the top of the Patreon page. Like, streaming and video content, I think, would be the easiest way to do it, because it
Yeah.
covers both. I'm not going to stop doing art. If anything, I'm actually going to do more art. I'm going to be doing more art casts, because I find them really rewarding. And when I have commissions, all I have to do is just clear it with the person that has given me the commission, and I can then stream it. And when I say clear it, all I really want to do is just make sure it's not a surprise gift for somebody. You know, like, it's not something that they're going to have. If they're a member of the community and they're streaming it in their living room, I want to make sure that I'm not drawing the gift for their wife or something, you know,
Right.
because I've done that before. I've done like drawings of kids for spouses and surprise Mother's Day, Father's Day things. So I wanted to make
I
sure.
remember I remember a stream like that. And you're
Yeah,
drawing like,
yeah.
a baby and
Yeah. And I have to be
um
careful too, if people want me to draw their kids, that I'll draw the kid on camera, but I have to make sure I don't have the photos, you know, on stream, that
yes.
sort of thing. And I'm
Yeah.
sensitive to all that. I have a couple monitors, so it's never a big deal.
Yeah.
Not to mention that the VODs are taken down off Twitch after 2 weeks, and if I wanted to download it and just delete it myself, I could do that as well. So if something did happen, it would only be up for a very short period of time. Um,
Right.
but for me, I'm making that change. So I thought I'd announce it here on the Citadel Cafe as well, just in case there is some crossover. There are going to be, I mean, if you're already a member of the Citadel Cafe community and you're supporting this show on Patreon, then you have most of the benefit already, which is joining the Discord community, which has already become more active. We've got Paranors in there. We've got I can't remember her the full username pineapple something. Discord is open. I should just pop over and look while I'm sitting here. I don't want to. I've been happy and very flattered that there's a number of new people. Pineapple
Mm-hmm.
Princess. Sorry. There's
Yeah.
also Orange Pineapple who follows me on YouTube and Twitch. So there's two pineapple names that I got them confused. And then we've got Cosmic Dancer, of course. True Purple is
Yeah. I'm
another
just looking at like
person.
the list of people now, and I'm like, there's people I don't recognize on here. This is
Yeah,
kind
which
of
is
neat.
really fun. Yeah, so Elcor
And
95. There's a lot of people that are regulars that I recognize from my Twitch stream, but people would not recognize from the Citadel Cafe Discord because most of the Discord was Citadel Cafe supporters because I haven't been
right.
able to have the time to draw a new comic in quite a long time. So my personal Patreon
Mm.
has been on hold for quite some time, which is good. I like that Patreon allows you to do that. I didn't put it on hold officially as like use of the website to do it because I didn't need to because Patreon was only charging people if I posted a new comic, and if I'm not posting a new comic, then people weren't getting charged. So not a big deal. In the
Right.
future, though, now that I'm doing this monthly thing, if I say go on vacation for a month, then I would say like, hey, I'm just going to put the thing on hold, which means that you don't get charged and you also don't expect any content from me because I'm going to be hiking and wherever doing something. So I'll have that option when it comes to it. But anyway, that's a long rant to kind of start the show. But look for those changes
Okay.
coming on March 1st. I'm actually still trying to figure out what to call all the different tiers and I'm trying to figure out a theme for my Twitch page. So if people have any ideas, I'm a Twitch affiliate, which means that I get a couple of emotes, up to 5 unlocked with stream points. But then I also have a stream badge, which is if you are a subscriber or not, or if you have subscribed for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, etc.
Mm.
And I want to have it be something that can evolve. So the example I gave on stream the other day was one of the streamers that I follow, Iskal85. He's a member of Hermitcraft. One of his in jokes from his Minecraft streams is he calls green blocks Iskalium because he thinks the green is really cool. So he treats it like his own mineral. It's kind of like a fun RP thing that he's doing, and he's
Okay.
silly about it. And so what he's done is I believe he hired a designer to come up with an illustration, and he calls it an Iskalium rock. So it's a rock with a little green gems kind of sticking out the top of it. But as you are subscribed to his channel for 3 months, 6 months, etc., it gets shipped away. So you mine your Escalium rock. And so people that have been supporting him longer have a brighter green icon next to their name, right? So they stand out more. It shows how long they've
Oh.
been subbed. It's a very cool mechanic, right? It kind of gamifies the Twitch chat a little bit. And I want to come up with
Yeah.
something, but I don't want to have it be specific to Minecraft. Granted, that is a lot of my content. I don't want to be limited to that. And so I'm trying to
Yes.
come up with something that is illustration based, but then trying to find something that works in a tiny square icon, that we can evolve. That isn't just like a circle
I mean,
or.
if you want to blend everything together, you could do like pixelated coffee mugs.
Yeah, I could do that. Pixelated coffee mugs. I could do. I thought about doing a stack of pancakes as pixel art, and just have it be bigger. But then
Yeah, stack of pancakes. Sorry, I feel like that's like a really defining like you
it
thing.
like if you follow me on
Pancakes.
Instagram, people will be like, yes, that makes a lot of sense. The problem is that it's not super flashy, right? They're
That's
beige.
true.
There's not much you
Well,
can do to it.
maybe the longer you've been with it, the more pancakes you have on your plate.
Yeah, but even then, even a full stack of pancakes is just a little brown square, right? Like it's not.
It's true.
And in terms of like what it actually looks like and the purpose it's being used for, it's an excellent idea. It's probably one of the first things that I came up with as well. But it doesn't. For visual communication, the designer in me goes, yeah, it's a good idea. Maybe offer a pancake T-shirt. uh,
Yes.
but yeah, it's one of those things that I've not yet not yet figured out. One of the suggestions on stream, which I believe I want to say it was Paranor, but I don't want to give credit to. I don't want to look over somebody if it was somebody else, but somebody suggested a drawing of something, whether it's a character or something that we could figure out, but then have that drawing be like a sketch and then a black and white ink drawing and then color. So people would be having the exact same image, but it would evolve over time, ties it into
Ooh, that's
art.
cool
Yeah,
too.
it's a cool idea. And I've had some other thoughts too that I want to get into right now, just in case I decide to do them. It'll be a fun reveal if I go that route. And the cool thing is I can actually stream the creation of these things as part of my content, which is going to be really fun too. But yeah, so that's kind of where I am. with all of that stuff. It's been a lot of fun, and I really want to give a shout out and a thank you to all the people that are supporting me over on Twitch. It's been eye opening and a really cool community to kind of watch it grow, like to see the growth in the last couple months, and know that the content I'm providing is striking a chord with people, because a lot of what I do with the Minecraft content is not the high octane talk a mile a minute YouTube content that a lot of Minecraft viewers are used to. It's a bit of a slower pace, and
Which I really appreciate.
well,
Like
thanks.
I think I've said that before. I
Hmm.
think I love the way like you do videos, and I've been noticing it more so because I haven't been on the Citadel Cafe server for Minecraft for a while, but I'm trying to come up with new build ideas, and I want to change my house. Like I like my house, but I don't feel like it fits in that environment anymore. So I know you were talking about having like different sections and categories of of the server in the future. So I
Hmm.
might move that or save that house for a different server locale. Um, so I want to like change the entire house that I have right now. But I've been looking up ideas on YouTube, and I can't find any of the videos. Or like all the videos are just like super crazy loud, and I'm just like
Hmm.
this it's not easy for me to watch, or everyone or people sound too monotone. It's either one extreme or the other. It's like people are either way too crazy loud and I can't figure it out, or it's too much, it's too sensory overload,
Hmm.
or one person just talks in the same monotone voice without any breaks.
Mm. Yeah,
And
that's
so
also
like I
hard.
don't know, yours is like a very just chill sort of environment. I don't know. I like
Well,
it. It's
thanks.
good.
And I mean,
Keep doing you.
one of the things that I think helps is that, one, I do have like 7 or 8 years of podcasting under my belt, so
Right.
being on mic is easier for me, I guess. But the other thing is that I'm still not very good at reading the chat room, so there'll be some succinct breaks in my speech patterns in the videos because I'm actually stopping to read to read what's happening. I
Right.
can't read and talk at the same time. I can't keep all of that going. So so yeah, those kind of things are in there too, and a lot of it's just time restraints. Like I can't make a Minecraft video and edit it and have it be like 4 hours of Minecraft play that's separate from streaming. Like I have to do them both at the same time. So what I just do is I try to keep the stream entertaining enough that I can just bookend it without having to edit it. Like I just chop a half an hour in, find a good place to go. Usually within 45 minutes to an hour, I stand up for a break and I put the stream on a break for a little bit, which gives me an out at the end of the video. It's usually a hard point where I'm like, all right, that's a good. I finished that process. We can now end here, and then part two will be tomorrow, and we can move on to something else.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's been fun in a lot of ways. And I had a point. Oh, what kind of style house are you looking for? Because I've got a couple people I could recommend that are going to be easier to watch.
Um, I think I found something. I've actually found something on Pinterest of all places.
Oh yeah,
Um, um, because I dabble on there
like a
sometimes. More of like a
Minecraft
modern,
build or just an architectural reference.
a Minecraft build. It's an
Okay.
actual mine. Like there's actually a lot of them on there, and they have them like pretty
Yes.
easily laid out. Um, but kind of something a bit more modern. I'll have to fiddle with it. I have like a creative server that's just my own private server to try and like
Mm-hmm.
test it out. Um, but I might get on there one night and there may be a whole new house in my lot. And then you just be like,
Yeah.
oh, okay,
Well, as
very
I
different.
mentioned before, like I'm always happy to jump on and play because I tend to spend a lot of time playing alone on
Mm,
the Citadel. So now that there's some more people being more active, I've been trying to do some stuff where I'm not recording, I'm not creating content, but I do have an hour at the end of the night where I can come on and help someone, even if that's just like gathering resources and just like helping to take the little bit of the grind of the thing. That's one of the nice things about a multiplayer server for some very casual players is that we've automated a lot. So if you need something, you don't necessarily have to go mine it. You can just go get it from a chest somewhere that's a
yeah,
public spot, or find someone that's like, oh, I know where a bunch of that stuff is, and I've got all the fast shovels, and I'll just give me 5 minutes, and I'll be back with a shulker box full of sand, or whatever it is that people need, and then we can jump
right,
on Discord and chat and all that kind of stuff, which is really
right.
really fun.
Which makes it way more fun
Yeah.
anyway. So,
Yeah, well,
you know,
I'll mention these people anyway, just in case you do need to find some other stuff. I would suggest checking out Grian.
yeah.
He's on Hermitcraft, but he has some creative videos and some ideas for like interior designs and houses specifically.
Mm.
And Mythical Sausage is a member on the Realm of Vastin with
What
me.
a handle.
I know
Every time I hear it, I'm always just like, what?
and once you hear him, you will understand precisely. The he's from the south, and he's fantastic. He's so good.
I love that.
And I'll put a little asterisk next to Mythical has a very unique presentation style, and he it, he gets mistaken for the kind of YouTuber you're like, oh God, do I really want to like stomach this whole thing? But it's not an act. Like that's
I think you mentioned that to me at one.
yeah.
I don't know if we talked about it on a show or if
I
in
think it
another
was just
Discord call
privately,
we
but yeah,
talked
yeah, yeah,
about,
no.
and
He's awesome,
yeah,
but that he's just awesome all the time.
that's great. I'll
So
have to.
just FYI, because I have that same issue too, where and there's a number of Minecrafters that do present some very good material. Like you're looking for data packs, you're looking for texture packs, and they're doing these clickbaity videos. They're like 5 of my favorite texture packs, and this is a cool sci-fi data pack, and blah blah blah. But I have to watch them on mute because the people put on this personality for YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not only do you not talk like that, sir or madam, but no one talks like that ever. And
Right.
it's just annoying. It's like a modern version of that, smarmy like 30s and 40s radio announcer, you know,
Right.
and
Yeah.
the old timey radio stuff. But it's just like there's no need for it. Like it's so plastic. And I mean, and people just unfortunately people don't see through it. And you're just like you're looking at these videos like, how do you have 2.8 million subscribed to your channel? I don't
I
understand.
know.
I just don't get it. So
I
I'm
mean, I try not to like hate on other creators as well.
no,
Like,
no, no, no.
obviously,
Look,
something is
hey,
working,
something is working. But
and
I just,
yeah,
and I chalk it up to a lot of age. And I mean, like, if you look back at the stuff that I was into when I was 12, my parents were probably rolling their eyes, going, "Oh my God, really? Ninja Turtles? They're ninjas, but they're like, I'm sure that everybody has those moments where there's, or for example, I mean, like, going back and watching old He-Man cartoons, they're terrible.
they're
I
bad.
mean,
They're bad.
Skeletor as a villain with the meow, like it's just not good. It's
I
not good at
think now,
all.
I think now people watch it more so for like, I guess the comedy of it now,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
how campy it was.
Oh yeah. No, it's super
Um,
camp, super campy. But that's the thing. Like there's always that kind of stuff that's aimed at younger viewers and whatnot. But and that's I like to think that I don't. I know I don't cater to that kind of stuff. But the problem
mm,
is that if I want to stick to those guns, which is just my personality, I'm in a smaller camp, which means it's harder for me to find that kind of stuff. It's the same with art videos too. I do find that I'm working when I'm doing the art videos, and I will engage in the chat room, but I will not be always talking with the chat room. I tried to watch.
yeah.
I'll leave people's names out of it, but I tried to watch a stream from an artist that I really like the other day, and the stream was like 4 hours long, and I couldn't watch it for very long because he would draw a line and then chat with the chat room and then draw another line and then chat with the chat room. It's like, dude, no wonder this took you 4 hours. Like,
Yeah.
I can't do that when I'm on a commission. Like I have to. I mean, I will engage and look at the chat, but I can't just sit there and doodle on something that's supposed to be work. And because
Yes.
I'm not there on camera either. Like I don't have a face cam, so I don't go to an art stream to look at someone's face. I go to the art stream to look at someone's art. And if they're not making art but for one line every 3 minutes, then it's like, well, I can, this isn't, I'd rather watch this as a time lapse on YouTube, right? Like I'll catch up later. So,
Yeah.
that said, there are other people that I follow on Twitch that are fantastic and that I actually have to not watch them when I'm doing other things. Like I'm blanking on his name. I wish I could remember it, but it's a long. He's got like a hyphenated last name, but he's a colorist and he does excellent content. And I was trying to watch him while I was doing something, work related the other day. I couldn't do it. I kept on getting distracted by his engaging and entertaining and educational stream. I was like, okay, I gotta go. I can't watch
Yeah.
this right now. It's fantastic, good content, but I have to work. I can't do two things at once visually. So
Yeah.
anyway, speaking of the internet and all things on it,
Yes.
I watched Ralph Breaks the Internet at long last. I've been wanting to see this film forever.
I'm still wanting to see it so bad.
Don't miss
I
it.
loved the first one. I
Don't
loved
miss
the
it.
first
It
one.
was the first one was fantastic. It was fun and imaginative and had a really good sense of everything and broke a lot of molds that Disney was kind of pigeonholed into, like with Frozen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Uh, the second one, I will argue, could be even better. It
Really?
could be
That's
even
so
better.
nice to hear. That's so
Yeah.
rare. I feel like the only other sequel movie that's been better than the original is Shrek 2.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I can see that.
I unironically love Shrek. I don't
Hmm.
care. Like I know everyone's like, "What? Shrek really?" I love it. I think it's a great play on fairy tales. It's funny, and the second one was fantastic. Carry on with
Yes.
your review on Wreck-It Ralph.
So I will say that I don't know if I hope they don't make a third. It's one of those things like you ended on
Right.
such a high note. I don't necessarily know that there's much to explore here beyond what's going on because
Mm,
of Wreck-It Ralph and its nature. The original one was in an arcade, and the
yes.
the plot thickens in this one when the owner of the arcade gets a modem and hooks the thing up to the internet, which means that the characters can then go out on the internet and
Right.
everything that involves. There's search engines and there's Google and Facebook and surprisingly not YouTube. They call it BuzzTube, and I don't.
I'm wondering if that was like a copyright thing.
Well, so here's
I
the thing.
wonder.
I was thinking about this, and every brand, including brands that you'd think would want to be not there, were there. And so I'm thinking that it's actually a problem with one of the characters. One of the characters' names in the movie is called Yes, and she's an algorithm at BuzzTube. And I'm just
Oh,
wondering if, for the sake of language, like there's a joke in the movie where there's a confusion where they're trying to have a conversation of people saying, yes, that's exactly what I mean. And then the character, yes, is being mistook for the word yes. And so that play on words is in there. They just do it the once,
okay.
which is nice, but it's very, very funny. Uh, but I was thinking like if they're talking about tubes and they're talking and the characters are interacting and saying you all the time, I'm wondering if it just became confusing, right?
Mm,
YouTube and and like so I'm just wondering if they decided, you know what, let's just call it BuzzTube and we'll just it's branded the same way. Like you look at it and immediately you know what they're talking about.
it's like, oh, it's YouTube.
It's
Okay.
YouTube, right? I but again, because Google is in it, and Google owns YouTube, so there'd be no reason. Like there'd be no reason why, or I should say, Google owns YouTube. Alphabet is, YouTube is one of the Alphabet companies, which is started by Google. Um,
Yeah.
but anyway, what I'm trying to say is that there was probably an artistic decision or an aesthetic decision to call it BuzzTube as opposed to YouTube, because
Hmm.
everybody else is in it. It feels very odd for YouTube to be singled out. But anyway, beyond that, the story takes Ralph and Vanellope out into the internet. They have to try and replace a broken steering wheel on Sugar Crush, Candy Crush,
Sugar
Sugar
Rush?
Race, Sugar Race.
Is it Sugar Race or Sugar
I think it's
Rush?
Sugar Rush. So Sugar Rush is the racing game that Vanellope is in, and there's an incident. It's really quite quick. In the first few minutes of the movie, a young girl playing the game breaks the steering wheel. It's completely an accident, and it's brought on by stuff that happens in the game by Ralph and Vanellope goofing around. So they decide to go and find it on eBay and try to raise the money to go get it. And it's kind of neat how they're trying to raise like real world money from inside the internet, and they have to go through different ways of doing that to raise real money. And they go to the dark net, and like there's all these great kind of like subculture things that they've put into the movie. It is an endless stream of just like pop culture references and internet stuff that most kids are not going to get, but boy is it candy for adults. Like it is
I
hilarious.
bet.
You cannot do anything else when you watch this movie. The number of characters is kind of like literally popping up because they're pop-ups and saying stuff and then disappearing. You're just like, did they just say that in a Disney cartoon? Like what just happened? And one of my favorite aspects of the whole movie is the character that is the search engine. His name is Knows More, and voiced by Alan
Yes, I
Alan
saw his
Tiddick.
trailer. I saw the trailer
Yeah,
about this.
and he's animated with like dot eyes, so he looks like a cartoon from like a UPA cartoon from like the 50s, which is like Sherman and Peabody and Mr.
Yeah.
Magoo, and like so he's got this classic look to him. And characters in Wreck-It Ralph or in Wreck-It Ralph and Ralph Breaks the Internet, depending on where the characters are from, what video game they're from, and what function they serve, they move in a different way. So 8-bit characters from Ralph's game that are not main characters, they move in an 8-bit way. They only have 4 or 8
Yes.
frames of animation, whereas other characters are smoother. Then you got other characters that are in like action games, and they're like super fluid, and their hair's always flowing, and all this kind of stuff. So
And that's what I loved about the first one too, is like the really careful attention to detail about like how all these characters moved
Yes. Yeah.
and their design and how to translate that from an actual 8-bit screen environment that you're seeing versus how they're going to look like, maybe like how they see each other in the game.
Mm-hmm.
That just little nuance is just so good. I love the first movie so much, so I'm like so excited to hear more about it
Oh
because it just
yeah.
makes me want to go see it even
Yeah,
more.
and so true to form, something that I know we've complained about, not on the show, but personally, is that Knowsmore is a search engine. So he tries to autocomplete your query. So he interrupts you while you're speaking and tries to guess the next word you're going to say.
Which I love. I loved that little thing because
Ugh,
like it's like in Google, you type in a couple letters and it's like all these
the
things.
phrases start to come up, and so
Yeah,
he talks a mile a minute, but he's so it's so good because it's that in itself doesn't ruin any of his jokes because you have to be there and be in context and really pay attention to what he's saying. And some of the
yeah,
things that he suggests are like memes or references to other movies or like it's really really subtle and it's rapid fire. Like I could watch this movie a second time and realize I missed half the jokes. I'm sure.
yeah.
And so that is just brilliant. He plays a key role in the plot. So essentially, without ruining anything, they have to go and hunt for loot in other games to sell on the real world internet to treasure hunters, and that's how they have to raise the money to fix this thing. And that leads them into oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the racing game. It's an MMO. It's like an MMO meets a racing game meets Grand Theft Auto.
Is that the one that Gal Gadot's character
Yeah,
is in?
so Gal Gadot
Yeah.
voices Shank, uh, and uh, and so Slaughter Race is the name of it. And it's
Ah,
like death metal skulls. There's sharks in the sewers. Like it's just kind of over the top, kind of MMO video game stuff. And so Vanellope, being a race car driver in Sugar Rush, feels very at home. And so they're trying to use that game to raise the money and all kinds of stuff
mm,
goes wrong, and there's all kinds of really interesting things. The main dynamic and the twist is that the internet is very appealing to Vanellope because she's young and she's bright eyed and she's always felt a little bit out of place in the arcade, whereas Ralph is steadfast, a homebody. If it ain't broke,
yeah,
don't fix it. Really just want to I really just want, because it's broke, I just want to fix Sugar Rush and go home so we can do the same thing
right.
that we do every day because that's what I like to do. And so that
Yeah.
becomes a bit of a rift for them throughout the film. But there's just so much to it. And I have to say that despite the fact that it's very jokey, it's very quippy, there's a real heart to it, and
Mm,
and they don't beat you over the head with it. It's not an after school special. Uh, I mean, it's a kids movie, so it's very clear, but it's
yes.
still very very well presented and well done. I I honestly I kind of teared up at the end. Like they do a phenomenal job between John C. Riley and Sarah Silverman for Ralph and Vanellope,
Yeah.
and the music, the animation acting, like the actual characters acting. Vanellope is adorable, and
She's so cute.
most of the time she's being cute and silly or cute and weird.
Or cute and sassy.
Yeah, but when she gets cute and sad or cute and heartfelt, because like she's a child character, but she's an adult brain, right? Like she's not a
Yes.
6-year old, even though she looks like one. And so there's something about that really makes the interaction between her and Ralph, which is a friendship. It's not a romantic involvement, right? He calls her kid
Yes.
just because technically he's a lot older than she is in terms of his game is from the 80s, right?
Right.
So he's an old man, even though he looks like he's 28 or 30 in terms of like his general appearance.
Yeah.
He doesn't have gray hair, that sort of thing. And
Yeah.
she looks like a child, but again, she's an adult because she's been around for probably 20, 30 years, or not, well, maybe not 30, but 20 years, I would say, is kind of like given the dates of her game. Like it's one of those things that they don't really touch on, but they definitely make you feel like she's an adult. But I feel like I'm trying to look up the director and I can't seem to find it on the tip of my IMDb page here. But I have to tip my hat to the story and to the director or directors. I think it was two of them. Um, because they really have that wonderful balance of telling a good, heartwarming Disney story with a lot of action, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of flashy lights, and a lot of jokes. But there's a really solid undertone that carries throughout the whole thing. Like they keep it pretty steady. The only thing that I felt was kind of a throwaway was the Jane Lynch, Calhoun, and Jack McBrayer Felix side
Yeah.
story. Eh, it was way more important and way cooler in the first one, and they're in it just because they're in it in this one, and
Right.
they're just comic relief, and it's flat. It drives nothing. The jokes aren't even really that good. Um, it's not bad, but because the rest of the film is so good and so engaging,
It
when
just feels like it's really out of
it's
place.
out of place. Yeah, it just feels like, oh God, can we get back to the really cool stuff? I mean, this is fine, but
Yeah.
like this is really kind of dull. And I really enjoyed Yes, and she's voiced by Taraji. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. P. Henson. You'd recognize her voice
Yes.
immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
No, I've seen the trailer. I'm just trying to place
yeah.
what else she's been in.
Oh, it's stuff like Madagascar. She's done some other voice acting and stuff like that as well. She just has such a distinct voice
I've
that
definitely heard her before. I just can't
yeah,
like
yeah.
when I've seen the trailer for Break the Internet, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm familiar with the character. Like
Yeah.
she's kind of yeah really digitized looking. She's blue.
She's blue and she kind of yeah,
Yeah.
she's got like some cool hair thing going on and
Um.
yeah.
Yeah. Like so I've seen her character in the trailer before, and I recognize the voice.
Yeah, so
I just can
she's an
never figure
algorithm.
out.
That's her role. That's the type of character that she is. She's an algorithm at BuzzTube. So she's one of the people that decides what gets shown and most likes and distributed and
Ah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
what goes viral and all that kind of stuff. So
Right.
yeah, so again, and she's a very cool character. The one thing I'll say is that it's her animation is where I notice this the most. There is a few points in the movie where as an animator I kind of got pulled out because like everything is just moving all the time. Everything is really swooshy and it didn't
Mm-hmm.
need to be. Like it stopped feeling like I was in a digital internet world and started to feel like I was watching a really overly done cartoon. You notice it more with her character possibly because she's so thin, like because she's so sleek and moves around so sleekly
Yeah.
and slinkily, I want to say, that you notice a little bit more. But other characters like Ralph, they're not afraid to just hold the character. Like if he's taking a breath, he's not bouncing around or shrugging, too much. And like
Right.
I noticed it more on her, but there was a lot of other characters on the internet sort of side of things that I was just like, man, I wish that things would just. It's not that I want them to stay still. It's just that things are moving without purpose, right?
Right.
And so it
It
feels
feels like it's
distracting.
just all over the
Now
place. Yeah.
that's an animator eyeball twitch for me. That's got most people are just being like that, whatever. I didn't even see that. But yeah, so other than that, I don't really have anything else to say about it without getting into any kind of spoilers. I did unfortunately not like Gal Gadot that much in it. She's a fantastic actor, and I love most of what I've seen her in, but she's not a cartoon voice actor yet. We'll say.
Mm,
I think for two reasons. One, I knew she was in it. Two, she's immediately recognizable as one, her character looks like her,
yeah.
and two, her voice is very distinct. The is it Israeli accent? She's that's where she
Israeli
yeah.
accent. Yeah.
So it's very unique, very easy to pick out. And she has a wonder. The character itself is not bad. And the subtle moments that she has with Vanellope are great. But she's kind of that tone the whole movie.
Right.
So as a character, there's nothing really wrong with it, but you kind of like you're it's blown out of proportion. Her levelness is blown out of proportion by the spikes and valleys everywhere else in the
Right.
film, right? Like John C. Riley is on a roller coaster as Ralph, and Sarah Silverman is Vanellope again, same thing. She's all over the place in good ways
Yeah.
because exciting things are happening or sad things are happening or boring things are happening or like whatever. But granted that Shank is supposed to be like the cool chick, but she's just a little bit too cool all the time. Like nothing seems to
Mm,
get her excited or sad or confused or no, not confused, but like even when she's having a heartfelt moment, she just feels like she's that even keel all the time. And so
right.
I don't want to necessarily lay that at the feet of Gal Gadot, but like it could be the direction, it could be the character writing, but that to me did feel flat as opposed to too cool for school. She just felt too flat. and that would be something to look out for. But again, I highly recommend it. I haven't seen Into the Spider Verse. It's on my list. I'm kind of surprised after watching Ralph Breaks the Internet that it didn't take an Oscar home. Uh,
Me too. Yeah, me too.
you know,
I'm actually
but I also know many people in the animation industry that have been talking about Into the Spider Verse, and I think that the pushing boundaries and groundbreaking sort of work that Sony did with Into the Spider Verse, I think probably deserved it. I'm not necessarily saying because I haven't seen it, I can't say, but people that I
yeah.
trust have been talking more about Spider Verse than they have been Wreck-It Ralph or Ralph Breaks the
Yeah.
Internet. They didn't say anything bad about Ralph, but they were just like, as soon as Spider Verse came out, the Ralph talk
That's what
stopped.
they were talking
Yeah,
about. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So that's I don't want to ramble on too long. I know we're kind of pressed for time this week. What have you been watching?
I started the Dragon Prince.
Cool.
I know you talked about it a little bit last week.
Hmm.
I finished up the Umbrella Academy, but discussed it last week, so I'm not going to get too much into that. But um, yeah, I think it's a lot of the thoughts that I have about the Dragon Prince are pretty similar to yours so far. Um, Enjoying it, but it is starting very, very slow. I just finished episode 2, and I don't feel like a lot has happened
Nope.
in the first 2
No.
episodes, and that's been 40 minutes of time,
Hmm.
and there hasn't been a lot going on. There's been a lot of setup, I think, and a lot of sort of reintroduction or a tie back to what's happened last season.
Hmm.
But so far, there's been a lot of like jokey things and a lot of should I, shouldn't I,
Hmm.
and a lot of conversation, and nothing really has happened so far. So it is slow. I feel like there was more that happened in the first 2 episodes of the first season than this one so far. And like I was, but I was surprised when every single episode ended though. Like I watched it and I'd be like, oh, it's over already, and then it'd be like, wait, what happened?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing.
So it's sort of a weird. It's weird because I'm engaged, but I'm also like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like not a lot's happened. Like I understand what's going on narratively, but it's like
Yeah.
nothing of note has happened.
Day to day is not exciting in those
No.
episodes, and I think what happened for me is that they hooked me into the world, and I want to know what's around the next bend, and I want to know what's over the next cliff,
Yes.
based on season one.
Yes.
And so season two is getting a bit of a free pass for me on some episodes that are actually very poorly done because season
Mm.
one just has that world building claw into me and is just like I need to know. I need to know. Do
Yeah.
I get to see the dragon's mom and dad? Do I get to go to the magical land which I remembered the name of in the week and then forgot the name of again?
Zadia.
Xavier, thank
I
you.
only know that because I watched an episode right before we started recording
Yeah.
the show. Zadia.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't remember it last time we talked about
Yeah.
it. So
So yeah, so it's stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Like I'm enjoying it. But I don't think that having slow moments is bad,
Mm-mm.
but I feel like having too many slow moments, use that time for character building, and I feel like there hasn't been a lot of character building in this little bit.
No, and you can
I
have
feel like it's been a lot of just dialogue and like again, like Rayla is having a minute of like, should I be honest? Should I not be honest? Shouldn't Claudia is like, there's just a bunch of people just doing their own thing,
Hmm.
and it feels very just chaotic, but also like nothing. Like, everything's just going around in circles right now.
I can't remember how involved Claudia and her brother were in the first two episodes, but you want to hit him with a blunt object?
He's just I don't know. He's just so far I don't dislike him. So far, I mean, I found he was really goofy in the first season. And I
Hmm.
was like, what value do you give to this aside from being the goofy guy?
Hmm.
Where but like goofy guys are not always bad. Case in point, Sokka from Avatar. He still had a
Hmm.
purpose. So far, he's got this guy. I don't remember his name anymore. He's that not memorable. He doesn't really have any sort of
Soren.
yeah, thank you. He doesn't have any sort of he's just kind of doing what he's told, and you can tell he's having like a sort of emotional struggle about it, but now he's just kind of like, all right, I'll just do it, whatever, I'll just do it anyway because it's what I've been told to do. So
Hmm.
I'm hoping, and from what you told me, I'm not holding my breath for it, but I'm hoping there'll be some more character development for him later. But I know you've mentioned before that there's not a lot going on with him even up to the end. So
They even have a good opportunity for some, and they completely miss it. um, and so does he. because, but I think the problem is like I don't mind there being a character that's just going through the motions or following orders, but
Mm.
no one is that. I shouldn't say no one is. No one's that dumb. Like he's unbelievably. Uh,
He's just one note. He's a one note
yeah,
character.
he does. Well, he's just
Yeah.
going through these motions, but you're like, but where's the motivation? Just because this, it's because you're doing this because the script says so, not because I believe that you are doing it for any good reason, right? Um,
Right.
they they lean into some stuff about like a relationship between him and his father, but they don't give you enough early on. So, for example, if you're going to lean into it, don't lean into it on episode 8. Lean into it on episode
Mm.
2. Like, have
Yeah.
him and Claudia talking back and forth about pleasing their father while they're riding down the road on horseback instead of saying the nothing that they said when they were doing it, right? Like, they talk, but they say nothing of value. And
Right.
so
Yeah.
they could be like, why are you down? Well, I'm trying to impress dad, or you could communicate this kind of stuff a lot earlier, which then later on, as you're watching, Soren battle with these decisions briefly, you're just like, well, at least I know why he's being indecisive and why he's following through with this thing that is dumb, like just that no one with his because he's not. I think the problem is that he has something to do that is evil, and he is
Yes.
not an evil person by any stretch.
No.
But he
No, not at all.
so he's just dumb, and but that to me isn't appealing. Like so you have to find something that bends the rules a little bit. I haven't I won't spoil anything. I'm gonna wait to talk to you about it until after you're done. But I think you will very much enjoy Claudia's journey. Uh,
And I think you mentioned that before too. You did say that the last 3 episodes are right at my alley, something that I would really like.
mm-hmm.
And I'm really excited to get to them, but I also feel like that's a bad thing. Like I'm
Yep.
excited to get to the end of the season
You could like
because of those last three
on a second
episodes.
watch, you could probably watch episode 3, 7, 8, 9, and you'd be fine. Look,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, don't do it. I mean, watch. They're short. It's not a huge time investment, and there
No.
is some payoff in those last 3 episodes with the knowledge that you gain over the middle episodes. But the
Mm.
problem is that all that knowledge could have been given to you in half the time and a lot sooner.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you could rather than having it all dumped on you in the last part, like that could have been spaced out, or that not necessarily spaced out, but it could have been a 5 or 6 episode season instead of a 9. And it's just like, guys, you're Netflix, and you know that this is a long arc. You're writing these in books or stories or chapters, so you know what's
Mm.
coming. They know how it ends already, I'm sure. So why are you putting out these fluff episodes? I'm fine with a 6 episode season. If it's
Yeah.
short and good, it's short and good. I'm just going to be champing at the bit for the next couple months until the third season comes out. But putting
Quality over quantity, man.
yeah, but putting out 9 episodes where literally half of them are fluff, I'm not really impressed. Now, again, I still think it's a really good show and people should watch it. So I'm curious about the the Rayla stuff. Like, how did you feel about the indecision that Rayla goes through in the first couple of episodes?
I mean, I get it. I think it's been so long since I've watched the first season that I was she the one responsible for the king's death? I don't really remember.
No.
No, okay, but she knows that he's been killed.
Yeah,
Um.
because the way that the assassins, the moon elf assassins work is that they have these special abilities that are bound with magic around their arms,
Oh,
and
right, 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 right,
and the
right, right.
idea
I
is
remember
that
that.
this magical ribbon will fall off when your quarry has fallen, died, or it will tighten and remove your arm if you decide to um to not
Right,
follow
and
through.
that was Rayla's whole arc because she had one for the
In
king
the
and then one for they each had two, one for king, or she had one to kill the princes.
I can't remember why. Did she have two or did she have one?
I thought she had two. I thought she had two and one fell off because one it was one for the king and one for the princes, and all of her other comrades had been killed. I think she
Yeah.
had one of her own. She had like she I think she was the only one that had two of them. Or no, because the elf that was in being held prisoner in the first season, he also had two, and his arm was starting to get a little wonk
Yeah.
as
So
well
this
because he had them around his bicep.
so I wonder why the
so there was one ribbon that was meant for the king's life and one ribbon that was meant for the prince's life.
Hmm.
Um, and so when Rayla decided to not kill Ezran and instead go with them, that's when the band started getting tighter on her hand, and it was getting worse over the
Season over
series.
the season, yeah.
Yeah, the season. So, thank you. And the elf that was being held prisoner was also having a similar issue before he was coined because he
Yeah.
was sucked into a coin. I
Right.
just that's
But I wonder.
there's so much that happened in the first season that
Yeah, you
it's trying
can't
to keep
remember
track
it
of
all,
all of
right? Like
it.
it's
Yeah.
but I mean the this other season there's a number of events, and I mean again I won't recant them because it's spoilery, but like you can I can remember most of season two.
Mm-hmm.
I thought did was there any kind of information? Did Viren tell the head elf that the kids were dead, and because he was the head elf, he then that knowledge then removed the ribbon? I don't remember. I might be remembering this
No,
incorrectly.
no, because it was the I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it was,
I
yeah.
don't remember. I think it was the moon elf mage
Hmm.
who managed, or no, it was the dragon that managed to get rid of the ribbon on Rayla's hand.
Oh,
Because I know in the first episode when we
right,
first see Rayla, she's
right.
just like, I can now do my hand spinny thing again, and she
Mm-hmm.
was like talking about how nice it is to be able to use both hands.
Mm-hmm.
But the other guy, the other elf, didn't manage to get that option because
He got sucked into a coin. Yeah,
he got sucked into a coin. So we don't really know what's happened to. I don't know what's happened to him
yeah.
yet.
Interesting.
Um, so yeah, there's a lot going on. Like so far, story feels a little shallow. There feels like there'll be a lot of like goofy jokes and things. It was interesting. It's interesting to kind of see Rayla go through her little struggle because I think she's combating. I think she's worried that you can see how much she cares about Callum and
Mm-hmm.
Ezran now. Like it's like just she's been with them for such a short amount of time, and Callum even makes this comment where like he's like, I've known Claudia and Soren for years. Is it Soren?
Yep.
Yeah, I've known them for years. And when she tries to be like, I don't trust them, he's like, I've known them for years and we just don't have that yet. She's visibly kind of, she understands, but she's also kind of like, well, that sucks.
Yeah, that
Okay.
hurt. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so you can, and she's struggling with like, I know I need to be honest, but I'm afraid of what it'll do
Mm-hmm.
to the friendship and to him, because she cares, and I think it's nice to see how much she cares. So I think out of the first two episodes, you see the most development in Rayla.
Mm-hmm.
She seems to be the one who's like struggling the most, even like right from the get go. And it's nice to see Callum being a bit more assertive because that is something that Claudia mentioned too. She's like that was really confident, where he didn't have a lot of confidence as in the first season. So kind of seeing that change. I left off at the end of end of episode 2.
Right.
So bomb was huge. Bomb was just dropped
Yeah.
for Callum.
Yeah.
So right before Rayla was gonna, go be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that goes forward.
And
And how
that
that
bomb was for me where I started to be a lot more interested in Claudia because I was like, okay, I didn't expect that card to fall right now. You kind
yes,
of expect that to
yeah,
be later. You kind of your brain goes, this is going to be 90210, and things are going to work out with them for the first couple episodes, and then in episode 5, she's going to have to drop the bomb,
right.
and then it's all going to be over. Uh,
And I'm glad they didn't go that route
no,
because
they
that feels
again
very cliche
they
and
went a
tired.
very different route, and which is good because then it's like I don't like that writing tool where the audience knows something but the characters don't.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It
I
look
mean, I like it, but at the same time, I prefer to have like I don't want it to go on forever.
well. That's I guess I shouldn't say not like it. I don't like it when it's dragged out. Like it's
Yes,
when it's used too long because then you're just kind of like I'm no longer interested in any of the decisions this character is making because they're all going to change as soon as they have all the information. Like
yeah,
that
and
can
it kind of remind. I just keep thinking of like Miraculous Ladybug, which I know I've talked about before, and how like the audience knows exactly who both these kids are, but they don't know who the other is, and it's kind of more hilarious frustration at that point, because it's like, oh my god, you guys are so stupid, like
Mm.
it's really obvious, but it's also a kid show. It's like meant for
Well, I
like
mean,
7-year-olds.
and you can draw that parallel to something like Clark Kent and Lois Lane, and sure, I mean like there are some really fun interactions that happen when Lois doesn't know, and like on all the versions where she doesn't know. But there's also some very cool interactions and some fun jokes and inside stuff that happens when she does know that Clark Kent is Superman.
Mm.
But I feel like none of those movie franchises drag that out too long, because otherwise it just starts to be unbelievable, because Lois Lane is supposed to be this sharp as a whip, or reporter.
Reporter,
And
yeah.
if she doesn't understand, that Clark
Yeah.
Kent is Superman, it kind of undermines her intelligence. I think one of my favorite cartoons that I've seen in the last few years in terms of Superman memes was uh, the Lois Lane is on Facebook, and the facial recognition puts a box over Clark and goes like, "Do you want to tag Superman?"
That's
or
pretty
vice
fun.
versa. Like she's uploading a picture of Superman, and Facebook is just like, do you want to tag Clark Kent? And the look on
That's
her
pretty
face
funny.
is like, holy like it's just
How have I
like
never figured this out
she's
before?
surprised and mad at the same time.
Yeah,
Like it's so good, and there's no
man.
words, right? She's not saying anything. She's just got this look on her face. Like it's just absolutely priceless. But well,
That's
good.
great.
We're gonna have to follow up maybe on like a bonus episode or something like that with the Dragon Prince, because there's a lot to
Yes.
unpack in the last few episodes. I'll
Yes.
leave a teaser. I get my wish, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how
Okay.
that unfolds. But stay tuned for that. But that
Cool.
is it for this episode of the Citadel Cafe. You can find more info about the show at thecitadelcafe.com. The music for the show is composed by Kevin MacLeod. And if you are out there and supporting independent podcasts, then you can go to patreon.com/the Citadel Cafe and do that. That goes into some stuff like recording equipment and website stuff, maintaining the Discord. And as a result of supporting the show, you get an invite to the Discord community, which I think is a lot of fun. So that's over at patreon.com/the Citadel Cafe. Email the show. Let us know what you think about Ralph Breaks the Internet and the Dragon Prince. And you can find the show on Android, Stitcher, iTunes, and Spotify. Everything is all out there. It's just by the show's name. Pretty easy to find. Same with me. It's all just Joel Duggan, joelduggan.com, where you can link to all the other podcasts I do. And I'm just going to give a hard shout out to Twitch, twitch.tv/Joel Duggan. Come hang out, watch me do some art, watch me play some Minecraft, and hang out with the epic folks in the chat room over there. And I hope to see you, because I'm going to be streaming again this weekend. Megan, where can people find you online?
People can find me online at Megan Townsend on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And if you want to follow my personal project, The Heir of Keldanon, which I really need to update on Instagram, that is also on the gram. It's HEIR Keldanon.
You've been listening to the Citadel Cafe, where we are fast, easy, and cheap, but you can only pick two.